only catching it. Since she said she only wanting it. Calling my phone when I'm getting it. No, 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 no.
So happy when Uncle Ian Ali presented me on TV for all the children to see me. A little girl watch at me joyfully, telling me, "You make me feel so happy." Uncle Crazy, sing we a calypso. Uncle Crazy, I see you on we school show. Uncle Crazy, I see you in Toronto. Uncle Crazy, I see you in Mayaro. Uncle Crazy, run a sweetie. Let me ask you if you're crazy and true. By my old parties, but I end up talking with the sister. We started to chat about this and about that, but this girl, she was getting real horror. Honey, what kind of thing you trying on me? Don't try that. You see, today I'm feeling real crazy. Don't try that. Come and hold me. Come and hold me, baby, tight, 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 tight. Don't
Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, Anthony. I'm just waiting for the guys to join. Welcome, everyone, if you're listening. Thank you for joining us again. You hear me as sing?
Yeah, I can.
Alright. Well, we are live, okay?
Right. I'm open, I'm not on.
Yeah, Wade coming in this now. Marmon will join us too. We live.
Alright.
So we want to welcome Mr. Suman Singh, my co-host here on Let's Talk with the Phantom. So Mr. Hing, you can go ahead and greet everyone.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Good night to you, Gary, and to all the listeners. Welcome aboard to this very important program, I should say, to reach out to the communities across the world, but preferably in North America, Canada, and so on. We welcome you on board. and your comments and your encouragement. On whatever you have, you can chime in from time to time. Let us know how you feel about the program, and we take it from there.
Yeah, we appreciate. This is a diaspora program. This is meant to bring everyone on board. Create an opportunity for your participation, regardless of where you are located in the world. So, Mr. Singh, I want to thank you for joining me, and we have the other guys who will join us soon. Mr. Maraj Ashwar will join us about 9:30. He's on the road. But Mr. Sriram Singh, what do you call it? Vesi Ram will join us pretty soon.
Nice. Well,
All right, so we see a couple things happening. Let me run. I don't want to run the clips before the guys get here, but let's listen to this. All right, let's listen to this. Watch this for a second here.
The Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Rudal Munilal, has indicated that government continues to receive expressions of interest in the Pointe-à-Pitre refinery.
There are several interested parties. In the coming weeks, another interested party may join us to take a look and have technical discussions with our people. So there's no shortage of suitors for the refinery. It is just that we have to meet and treat with all offers and all those concerned in a very fair, transparent manner, and that is what we are about now. So that process is unraveling as we speak. Just this morning I've received communications from another entity with great interest in that.
Mr. Munilal made his comment as he spoke to members of the media after a book distribution program in his Debeg constituency on Friday.
We're extremely pleased to meet another partner, a new friend in Indian Oil Corporation. That delegation to meet us was led by no less a person than the chairman of Indian Oil Corporation, Mr. A. Sani. And he led a very important team to meet us. Indian Oil, just to inform you in case some may not know, Indian Oil is India's largest state-owned integrated energy company with operations across the hydrocarbon value chain, including refining, marketing, pipelines, exploration and production, and petrochemicals. At that meeting, it was interesting just to place in perspective that Indian Oil operates 10 refineries in India. We're extremely pleased that they have this capacity, this breadth, and we intend to work with them to ensure that we participate in a process that would lead to the reopening and restarting of the refinery at Pointe-à-Pitre. We discussed with that delegation the provision of technical expertise and strategic directions. They have a wealth of experience in refinery capacity at various refineries, as I said, across Asia. The delegation indicated that there is a readily available local workforce to support the resumption of refining operations. We were told that Indian Oil was also very much interested in the entire Caribbean region and would be happy to return to Trinidad and Tobago, having done some work here, I believe, in the late 1990s. We expect within a short period of a few weeks, certainly post-Carnival, we expect that we will be in a position to welcome a technical team from Indian Oil to look at the refinery and to give us some direction, some support. They were extremely pleased to return to Trinidad and Tobago since they had been here before, and they were extremely happy to know, which they indicated, the powerful local labor force that we have in refining and oil and gas. So that dialogue is ongoing. We were able to meet as well with...
Well, listen to this is the one I've been saying all the time, Mr. Singh. I want everybody to listen to this one if they didn't hear it before.
They crippled our downstream by the policies that were put in place by the former administration.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald Ramdeen, said this situation forced the board of NGC to take the required steps.
We have had to go and undo transactions that were done before to bring gas into this downstream. When they talk about plants closing, they are responsible for that because they never made any provision for gas to go into the downstream. And we have had to compete. The last time I spoke here, I told you all, the NGC now doesn't hold any monopoly on gas, The NGC has to compete with upstreamers to buy gas at LNG prices to be able to supply our downstream.
Mr. Ramdeed said work is also underway to revamp the National Gas Company.
NGC has remained a pipeline company for 50 years without any vision to make an investment in the upstream, to buy a plant in the downstream so that we can earn valuable foreign exchange. And those are the policies and the vision that is driving the energy sector at a ministerial level, at a prime ministerial level, at an NGC level. And the only people to benefit from that are the citizens of this country.
He said ensuring that downstream companies have the gas they need to operate is one of the company's main focus areas.
There are active discussions at every level to do certain things. Prioritize our downstream. Bring value to our country, to Atlantic LNG. Have a footstep in the upstream. Have a footstep in the downstream. And expand the operations of the NGC. Those are things that have not been done in 50 years.
Mr. Ramdeed was responding to reporters following a Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs ceremony to hand over the title deed for the Beachfield gas processing facility in Guaraguari to NGC.
Mr. Singh, let's hear you. You see, what we've been saying all the time, these guys
Yes.
cause so much damages that this government and it has to restructure everything from underground, not even from ground, from underground. Go ahead, let me hear you, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation that came out this week with Mr. Ramdeen, and I'm delighted to know that he's taking the corrective measures that will ensure that we have continuity of our natural gas supply, whether it's local or from the neighboring countries, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and what have you. So that is a very bold and innovative step that has never been done to the extent we would like it to be done. And, as our own gas supply dwindled, here is it, no attempts were made to bring in or to import gas from the neighboring countries, and hence we have seen a lot of closures of plants and idling of equipment and machinery in the Point Lisas area. So congratulations to the NGC board and NGC itself on his tutorship that, we can expect a lot more gas flowing in from different sources, and that augurs well for the industrial estate in Point Lisas going forward.
Well, when you want the coral for a hamper in 10 days, Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her government intends to give you better than 10 days. They're doing a lot of restructuring for the country, and the economic stream is going to flow so heavily that you won't be begging for 10 days. You'll get more than 10 days. So let's refocus your mind, and don't buy into the propaganda. Understand. This program is to help you understand and help educate a little bit that what the government is doing and the plans put in place. And what I have seen, Mr. Singh, is that we don't have to chase the investors. The investors are chasing us.
Right, but that has never, nothing in the past 10 to 15 years.
Never had done under the PNM.
Never did. Investment was at a complete standstill. Standstill meaning, look and see how many investors are thanking the government. ExxonMobil, for example, they were very complimentary in how fast the Ministry of Energy got the licenses approved for it to start drilling in the deepwater region of Trinidad. So then we had a number of smaller companies, BP, TT, then Shell, ExxonMobil, and a number of a number of smaller companies are into the fray as well. Not to mention the natural gas from the various uh, fields in the Gulf, which the Prime Minister alluded to. There were about 4 of them, the main ones. So things are happening, and I share with you the same, positive mindset that things are happening to Trinidad and Tobago silently and quietly behind the scenes. And the public or the population needs to just be aware that what's the circumstances surrounding the revenue is going to be, because I don't want them to be under the impression, hey, we're going to start getting millions and billions in the short term. No, it's not going to happen that way. What's going to happen is that the footing, the solid foundation will have to take itself care of itself first. And once that becomes, a more matured in its projections, then we can likely see a greater inflow of hard currency into the state. And that will have them,
and you're going to get a more solid foundation, a more sustainable foundation.
This
This is not going to be a 10 days thing.
So I don't want people to be under that expectation, and that is the thing, because sometimes all these articles, some people that can't read, and understand that these things take time. Sometimes more than a year or so will need to unfold before any revenues are collected in the form of taxation. Remember, we should be thankful that first we got the companies to come down here to invest. So that's the first option. Then when they start to drill for the gas, after the exploration phase, then you could start to produce once the oil wells or the gas wells prove positive. So it's not a 1 day or 6 months or 1 year happening. This is a long-term process, and the economy in the meantime has to be structured in such a way, rather than expect the population that is expecting quick gains, to see all the fancy headlines, 3 billion BTU or MMBTU and so on. They think it's $3 billion, So we have to educate the public to read and understand what is happening. And that is a critical point, because some of them say, oh, no, man, you see how money the government collecting, 3 billion. But 3 billion of what? 3 billion cubic feet of natural gas or US dollars? What is it really you're talking about? So that education and that awareness has to be understood by the population. But all in all, I see much better days ahead for the TNT, thanks to the UNC government and the policies that they have put in place, and working assiduously to ensure that, the goals and whatever they have planned for the people are taking shape.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Singh. I'm trying to help you to get in. Okay.
Okay. And I also saw what Minister of Energy said, that Indian Oil is very interested in the Point-à-Pierre refinery. And that is not just coincidental, Indian Oil is a big player in the Venezuela crude market. And that's the point he did not elaborate too much on, but they are a major, major player after the U.S. granted Indian oil companies to trade with in Venezuela crude. So that is also a positive. And can you just imagine that if a refinery, or if they take hold of the refinery in Trinidad, then we can be, refining a lot of the Venezuelan crude right here rather than it having to go up to Texas to be refined. So that is another positive to look forward to. I mean, they're just discussions already in an exploratory stage, so don't read much into it as yet until something concrete is signed. But their know-how, and then all know-how that is, and their broad marketing reach, I think it bodes well, very well for TNT, given our proximity to the Venezuelan oil fields. So that's a very strategic move if one looks at it like that. Any other headlines?
Yeah, I'm also seeing the steel mill there. There's some progress with the steel mill with the U.S. interest in there.
The what? I didn't get that.
The steel plant,
Oh
Point
yeah,
Gleason
yes,
steel
yes,
plant.
yes. I think Pinnacle is a company that is very, very interested in the steel company, and should they succeed in that, I saw their plans. They want to make it a hub, the steel hub, given our proximity to the US, So that is even greater news for the local economy of TNT, because I mean, not only will you be guaranteed a market or the output of steel, but you will have strong support from the U.S.
I mean,
government.
we talking petrochemicals, and I mean, all them methanol and ammonia, and all them things will benefit alongside with all this, business
But
transaction that's
steel,
taking place, negotiations, so a lot of things in play to benefit the
but it's,
citizen.
yes, but the steel in particular, they want to make it like a closely knit
Yeah, well,
hub for U.S.
you would
manufacturing.
build the steel according to U.S. code, and because they will be involved, and you build good quality steel.
Correct, and not to mention in the amount of little downstream industries emanating from this initiative. Um, I don't know, there were like about 6 or 7 some minor steel plants as well, but most of the downstream users of the steel output, and a lot of like BRC, wire bending, steel sheets, and what is not only steel for building, but steel the processing of this steel with at a certain level downstream. So that is where you make the money from the various subproducts of the steel rather than just the various lengths of steel, like half inch, 3/4 inch, and so on. That is one aspect. That is for the construction industry, so to speak, really. But the steel sheets and steel what's called like steel turbines and so on. These are the downstream products, which is used now by local industries and local sub-manufacturers to
Dr.
drive.
Maharaj is with us, so you could jump in anytime if you're able to talk to. I know you're traveling, Dr. Maharaj, but anytime you could jump in, feel free.
Yeah, so the Pinnacle steel plant really is a definite plus, and that is something that should never have happened to TNT by the closure of that mill down in Point Lisas there. So it's a welcome. I think the mill was closed over 10 years and was subsequently sold for $1. That is the extent of the former regime. So with that in mind, I'm sure a lot of industries, as well, maybe returning back to TNT. I don't know if you know, Gary, there are a lot of companies that had to leave Trinidad and go to Guyana to set up shop. But Schlumberger and Baker Hughes and all these companies that were based in South, they migrated to Ghana and set up shop over there. So I'm sure with all these oil exploration and gas exploration, the various Halliburton and so on will be coming back to TNT shores in a big way. Because these are the oil servicing companies that benefited, and they're all U.S. companies, Halliburton, Schlumberger, Baker Hughes, and whatnot. They were all based in the Southland, and support for the local oil and gas industry. So with all these things, they will expect a fair amount of economic activity within the oil servicing sector, not only the oil exploration, but the servicing sector as well. So much better days are ahead.
So we have Dr. Margin, but he's on the road, so he's going to join us in a little while. He's traveling. He's on the road, he's driving, so he will join us a little later on. But he's logged in.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me, right? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you good. If you want to say something, feel
I
free.
don't know. Yeah, because I kind of dark where I am, but I'm just trying to follow what's going on a bit, and I'm surprised you can hear me.
Focus on your driving. You could say a few things if you want, but focus
No,
on your
I'm
driving.
packed up. I'm waiting for someone to come out. So I'm waiting right here. I'm in the middle of Jamaica, in Richmond, Jamaica. So I'll be reaching home about maybe latest 9:30. So yes, I think you're talking about the steel plant, which I don't know if Sumant mentioned there is an important compound that is found in Trinidad in the manufacture of vanadium, I think is the name. It's an up and coming new compound that will assist even in healthcare and batteries. And so I think the American investors are seeing some things that they really want to be there. And I only hope that our people must recognize that, and I think I'm writing about this though, they must recognize that when these American people come down, and they come to make profit. They profit and they don't interfere with the profit. They come to help out everything, but give them a chance to make the profit, and they don't want no trade union to interfere with. I mean, I understand you have laws and you have trade unions, but at the same time, they want to have a kind of free rein, quote unquote, to manage the enterprise, because there are competitors, even though this is a rare compound, there are competitors for rare earth material. And I think that Trinidad and Tobago is well, I think what Sumant was saying, I don't know if he went this far, but Trinidad, I think he was saying this really, that Trinidad is well poised, providing those detractors and they don't get too involved. And see, because it calls a new mindset, and the only way Trinidad could come out of this and go ahead and be even up to a first world country would be to change the mindset. Because if you look at some of the detractors, the things they are saying, they're in last century, they're not in this century. Even if you look at what the papers are writing and people in the editorial and so on, which I really like to look at, I didn't look at them today yet, but the editorial itself, they really, they're in yesterday's world. They don't understand what the hell they're talking things. Look, let me give you an example. I mean, I don't know if you all had to have a different take on this commissioner being absent from job. Hey, what kind of crap you ever hear? I mean, and you know what happened? We're not, the UNC people not talking out, like maybe here is where we do it. But the UNC people not talking out. I mean, the commissioner's biggest, they're going to go to private damn business. That's his damn business. Mind your damn business. Mind your, you always train that into run Makoshas. If somebody want to take a leave and go about their business, mind your damn business. You interfere with the people. You know, these people are no shame, and the papers have no standard, no class either. So my point I'm trying to make here, and I'll talk if I get a chance a little later tonight, again when I go to my computer. I would, if you're all still there, I would want to suggest that we have to, UNC have to do a better job. I'm talking about people like us, we UNC people, have to do a better job in answering what is happening in and around you. You know, because we just cannot allow ourselves to be given only 5 years or 5 years. We know 5 days CPF workers. We come here for a long haul. We come for a permanent job. We didn't come here for a 5 years job. We come here for a permanent job. And all things must boil down back to that permanent job. That job, that next time. You're asking this government, they see this yet, they see that yet, they see the equality. What the hell? You give the people only one year. You expect to see everything, and you haven't made up. You know, if you listen to the people who criticizing the UNC government, they're making a case for this government to continue for another 5 and another 5 and another 5. If you listen to their kind of conversation, as everything, they're asking this government for so many things. It has to be done in 20 years. They're making a case for the UNC to stay longer. So hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening to you, Doc. We're hearing you good.
Oh, yeah,
Go ahead.
because I'm not sure now.
You coming in better than in the house.
They think they're attacking the UNC and they're getting ahead. If the UNC had to make this kind of like the case I'm making, they're making a case for UNC to be there for at least 20 years. Because all these things they're asking them to do cannot be done in a month. It cannot be done in 5 years. It has to take much longer than that. So actually, they're making a case to re-elect the UNC government in the next 4 years. That is the case. They have been UNC to make a good case to be there for a long period of time. And you have to twist it this way. This is how you twist it, because this is strategy. This is above all the hard work and the American coming here. If there's no peace and tranquility, the American cannot invest. If the crime doesn't go down, the American, they might take a chance because nobody come inside the point. At least that's the whole of nobody in there. It's so heavily guarded. But the Americans will want to make it sure that they make the profit, they take the risk, they make the profit, and they want to go about their business. And if they can't get that done, like ArcelorMittal, they'll pack up the shop and they will shut down everything and move out again. And if the union, look, let me tell you something. The union have no say. So the Prime Minister is correct legally and politically and industrially. She is correct to tell them if you need a job, apply. And I don't know what they're waiting on. Apply back. If you're saying you have 40% of your people should do the job, if they apply back like everybody else. Because we have to have some peace and quality in the industrial front, or else all these things we're doing will go to naught. All these hard things. And we have to keep on.
You know what I think this time around, I don't think the US is going to pack up and run. I think the US is going to stand its ground very solidly here. They're making an investment. They want these things to function so that the United States can benefit from it also, and the people in the region. I mean, the U.S. is seeking its interest. The U.S. is not going to back down easily. So they don't play stupid with the U.S. because the U.S. will show them.
Because if they start picketing for some reason, I start picketing the new company that is being refurbished, you know, that is not that the company might run away, but the production, the investment that they're doing will be questionable, and therefore the profits that they're expecting may not be showing up. Because if they block a truck that is coming to move off things, that interferes with plants and production. So all
between the Trinidad government and the United States,
the opposition is like to march And they like to walk the streets, and they like to say this is we country, and therefore
Yeah.
we want so on. We have to do
Yeah,
it, and we're ready to march and all of that.
we as you know, who PNM country, right?
That's right. So we have to really. That's why I tell you they're making the case for UNC to be here for 20 years. Because all the things they're arguing, falling back on the spitting on the air and falling back on them. They're not making any sense. Because they're using pre to last century. They're in the 1980s, and we in 2030. So their argument is good for the papers, for those people who are old PNM who came out of the Eric Willem era. They're not in this new era, the Kamla 2.0, and all these nice boys who are in there, Roger Alexander 2030. These are the people for the future. All these young men, the other day I told you they are well equipped with nice, hard-working, forward-looking people. That the UNC have to take this and run with it. And the PNM is helping them to make a case because they're not making a case for themselves. They're helping make a case for the UNC. And the UNC must show them that the case they're making is in favor of the UNC. Because it's only UNC can get it done. But saying it doesn't really have to do it and prove it. Saying it is not enough. You might saying it only, but you have to prove it.
Yeah, but look at the performance of the PNM, right? And all the evidence we have that we are making the progress here, and the PNM is the one that caused the whole thing to crash because of their way of conducting themselves, right? And their level of arrogance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think you all were on the right track just now. I have part a little bit I heard just now. Matt was wrapping up. But again, think about these people who are criticizing the UNC and the commission. I didn't see anybody yet make a response like the way we are responding here to the commissioner. Mind your own goddamn business, man.
But
let the guy go where go where the hell you want to go and go mind the damn business.
But it's an emergency situation.
There's nothing saying why the hell you think we had 3 deputies. It's not 1 deputy you have 3. Why do you think they have 9 deputies? So when the commissioner is unable to perform his duty, the most senior DCP will pick up. That is the established law in the police service. Everybody know who's senior to who in that police service. Everybody know who's second, who's third, who's fourth, who's fifth. You go to a police station, the same thing. Everybody know who's senior. If the sergeant, they know the next senior person takes over. If the next senior person, the third person, if the person most senior rank will take over. And the senior in number, police regimental number, they all have the thing all work out. But yes, still they do like they come from, the people asking these questions, they came from Mars. And so many ex-police officers walking around. They can't explain this thing properly, that the police is always in command. If one person get killed, the second take over. The third get killed, the third will take over. Then they have the chain of command like that, and they know who gonna follow. It's not a mad scramble or anything. But they're so movelang. There's so much in the trinigram that they get there and they blambast and they well assisted by the media, them backward media. And that's what
Doc, listen to this.
People.
We live in a technological age, right?
Yeah.
Where the police commissioner could be any part of the world and still conduct business. So what nonsense they're talking about?
Oh crap, that's crap. But you see, they're not making that case. We're making the case, but Trinidad people not making that case. I don't know how many Trinidad people there living in Trinidad except for someone or anybody here who could agree with what we are saying. I mean, we are outside people, but we're also inside. We are both. I have my both feet, 1 foot in Trinidad, 1 foot here. I'll talk to you guys later, and when I go home, I'll call you. Good night.
Yeah, I'm going to play back this video. Listen to this video. I'm going to play back this clip.
Okay, quickly.
They crippled our downstream by the policies that were put in place by the former administration.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald Ramdeen, said this situation forced the board of NGC to take the required steps.
We have had to go and undo transactions that were done before to bring gas into this downstream. When they talk about plants closing, they are responsible for that because they never made any provision for gas to go into the downstream. And we have had to compete. The last time I spoke here, I told you all, The NGC now doesn't hold any monopoly on gas, The NGC has to compete with upstreamers to buy gas at LNG prices to be able to supply our downstream.
Mr. Ramdeed said work is also underway to revamp the National Gas Company.
NGC has remained a pipeline company for 50 years without any vision to make an investment in the upstream, to buy a plant in the downstream, so that we can earn valuable foreign exchange. And those are the policies and the vision that is driving the energy sector at a ministerial level, at a prime ministerial level, at an NGC level. And the only people to benefit from that are the citizens of this country.
He said ensuring that downstream companies have the gas they need to operate is one of the company's main focus areas.
There are active discussions at every level to do certain things. Prioritize our downstream. Bring value to our country, to Atlantic LNG. Have a footstep in the upstream. Have a footstep in the downstream. And expand the operations of the NGC. Those are things that have not been done in 50 years.
Mr. Ramdeed was responding to reporters following a Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs ceremony to hand over the title deed for the Beachfield gas processing facility in Guayguari to NGC.
So you see that? The level of work like we were talking all the time, the amount of restructuring these guys have to do.
Yeah. But what's going behind all my mind is, you know what's going behind mine? That the same voters in Trinidad will not buy this, that all these things that they're doing. So behind all of this, my second operation is, you know what? All this great work, thank you very much. You deserve 5 more years. The people of Trinidad have to realize this. But we know from history, and in fact, I heard one of the guys saying that we know the PNM will have a history of coming back, and therefore I am betting they will come back at some point, whenever, but they will come back. And my thing is that they shouldn't come back because they're no good. Some people saying they have to come back because after this 5 years, they'll come back the next 5. That's the history. And that's according to so-called people who are in the middle.
Well, we want to make sure that history don't repeat itself.
Yeah, that's why everything Ramdeed is saying is excellent. But behind my mind, I say, shit, those people are not so smart, to buy this idea. Yeah, we're good at producing and making money, but we're not good at winning politics. That is, we have to do both, and that's my point. I'll talk to you a little later. Bye.
All right, Doc. Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Okay.
Yes, Gary.
So Wade was having a little technical problem in signing in, so he delayed him a little bit, but he's trying to get some help. In the meantime, you could carry on.
Yes, all these things, Gary. That was one of my statements which I made. The public has to be sensitized. When they see all these numbers on the front pages of the newspapers, they have to understand what does that mean. And exactly, Doc was mentioning the same thing again, that these headlines, is it trying to say something which is really not the facts? They're just trying to sensationalize
Obviously, they were trying to twist things around because that is not in their interest. Their interest is about themselves. Give the people a few crumbs and they're about themselves.
But this is the thing, and not only that, how do you interpret what is being said than what you're actually printing? And people, some of the population can easily be fooled from the time they see $3 billion. Sorry, not $3 billion, but 3 billion, they think is money. When it could very well be gas output, and these are the things a lot of people are just gullible about, so we have to make sure that the population understands when they see figures like this, numbers, what's called the quantitative aspect of these numbers and what they mean. Because they say, $3 billion, now we could get more money, man. The government should run the money now for us.
Exactly. Look, Sally Ram, look, understand they're going to make sure they don't return. Yes, Sally, we have to make sure they don't return. Definitely, we have to make sure they don't return.
Yes. So they need to correct these things and be on it all the time so that the press will not get away with this nonsense they are printing from
You
time
know,
to
Sally,
time.
not after what we have seen in the last 10 years, never shall the PNM return. Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Yes. So that is one of the challenges that they mean the UNC will have to face to explain to the population what these numbers are and when they should be expected and what we're planning to do and so on. An in-depth analysis so that people can understand rather than be carried away with headlines because they, as you know, the people who own the newspapers and so on will do everything in their power to make sure that they create some sort of hullabaloo about things.
Yeah, but we know the people who own the newspaper benefits most and wants to keep people on crumbs, and they fall for it all the time. You know.
And they feed the population false information, and certain segments of the population buy those things. They believe in it without any sort of analysis or listening to what the current government has to say or is saying about the numbers. Because all of a sudden you'll see all these unions and things coming out through the woodworks. They were dormant for the past 10 years. So they're coming out now and say, hey, we want the money and this and that. We have not been paid for the 2020 to 2023 period. Then, hey, whose fault is that?
They want to bully this Indian lady. That's what they want to do. They feel they could bully the Indian lady, because she's a small little Indian lady. And, most of the time we are very passive. We are not very aggressive. So they feel they can push you around. We must stand up and see that this must not happen no way in hell.
And I see, under the certain unions signed 0.001, 0.01.
They couldn't open them out for the short man at all. They couldn't open them out for him.
No, and some of them signed that 1%, 1%, then 2%. These are the things they signed for. Now we will not take nothing less than 10%. Check how the scenario has changed. All in a sudden, they want 10%. They be starting at that. But when over the years, they were willing to take 0.02, 1.12% over the 3-year period. I heard a union yesterday complaining that they have not been paid from 2020 to 2023. Well, where were their mouths during that period of time? And even after 2024 and 2025, why were they silent? So, you see, these are the expectations I'm talking about.
In the meantime, Rowley give himself the biggest raise. Cho Chong and everybody get the biggest raise in his government, right? They refuse to answer. They brutalize the Auditor General. They went after the procurement regulator, right?
Yeah.
Everybody had to keep their mouth shut. In the meantime, while them bully and battered everybody, but all of a sudden they get voice because the short little Indian lady there? Hell no.
So these are the things we have to safeguard ourselves from and make sure people understand. We'll take it on our terms. This time we in charge. And according to the PNM style, we in charge now. We all have to deal with it. So I think the UNC will do well to adopt that sort of approach now, because they were all silent and dumb over these past 10 years, and all of a sudden they want this, they want that, they want this retroactively. Where is the new salary? When is to be paid? Let us know. Other unions get their 10%. Why didn't we get 10%? Yet they signed for much less than that, but now they want it re-evaluated. back again. I remember one union, the teachers union, tutor, for example, was a classic case. That they were always with the government, they were always against the laptops, they're always against that now that the laptops are AI enabled for the school children, they find all the excuses, negative excuses why it shouldn't happen and why this will not work and so on. Yet,
Many times them can afford to buy tablets for the children and laptops, but your children mustn't get. The poor man child mustn't get at all.
But according to this government, everybody gets, whether you can afford it or you can't afford. Everybody gets the laptop. So it's a level playing field now. No longer education and access to, the internet and so on, broadband access. No longer is this restricted to just a few people, but everybody has access to these things now. So there's no excuse for learning. Because with your own AI teacher, what's called an AI tutor at your bedside every day, if you're a slow learner, you have time to use your assistant, which is in the laptop.
If you didn't understand something, you could ask the question.
And not only that, it shows you.
If you're like Gary, then you could, and you didn't catch it, you could go back and ask the question.
That's one point, but you could ask it over and over and over and over again till you get it, till you understand. And that is the nice thing about it, having a co-teacher with you all the time. In a number of fields, not only in the sciences, the mathematics and so on, but also in the writing, composition, and principles of business and biology and geography and history and whatnot. So, you are so well endowed with these options now that eventually the teachers might have a nice, easy, cushioned job here to say, hey, when you go home, just whatever you missed in class and you didn't understand, go home and review it. It's like homework now. So this is the thing. So there's no excuse why you shouldn't be learning or keeping up with your learning or excelling in your learning.
Now, look at this. There's another clip here. Hold on a second.
Following Cabinet's decision to remove county medical officers of health from the approval process, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development Dr. Kennedy Swarat Singh noted that government is addressing one of the key bottlenecks affecting the ease of doing business.
But the cost to businesses and to development activity for inordinate delay in getting things approved has been significant. Both the EMA and the country that falls under the remit of planning, but also, of course, with local government and other agencies. So we have to do better. These platforms will help us to do that. You would have recalled that
Minister Swarat Singh acknowledged that the delays have come at a significant cost to businesses and development activity. He said government now wants to identify where applications are being held up, with agencies expected to meet agreed processing timelines.
Because when you send in an application, almost as if you're sending in one application but it goes to multiple agencies. You are not concerned about which agency the bottleneck resides in. Our role has to be to dislodge those bottlenecks and to give you a response in an agreed time. Because once you send an application, the contractual obligation is that if we say it's going to take 30 days, you expect a response in 30 days. It mustn't be 90 days or...
Comments came as 4 new e-services were introduced on the Develop TT platform, expanding the digital application process to include advertisements, car rental facilities, mining operations, and development variation requests. Crimson Logic Regional Director Naveen Bhatt said, Develop TT forms part of government's wider push to modernize public services.
The government has articulated an ambitious vision for national development, modernization, and economic transformation, supported by improved public sector efficiency and stronger digital services. Develop TT contributes directly to that vision by simplifying regulatory processes, improving accessibility, enhancing transparency, and enabling a more responsive and citizen-centric public service. Importantly, platforms such as Develop TT and TT BizLink are about more than digitization.
As the government focuses on improving the approval process, the new services will allow applicants to submit documents online, track applications, and receive digitally generated decision letters, while inspectors can upload site visit information in real time. Faith Chariot, TTT News.
Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, Gary, by the way, the last thing that he was mentioning there about the speeding up of the digital is exactly what I'm doing here. by the way, exactly what I'm doing here. And yes, it is being done there with big fanfare and this and that. And yes, your little partner is doing the same thing and more. I'm bringing 30 deliverables to the digitalization platform, not just 5 or 6, 30. So yeah, that's good to see that we in the know, because what has happened is a lot of countries, Caribbean countries like St. Kitts and so on, their approval for business is 14 days. Within 14 days, you can start a business, man. The process has been cut down drastically. Over the last 10 years, nothing has been done with respect to the ease of doing business in TNT.
That word, see, that word for me is I'm very particular about that. Ease of doing business for all citizens. Ease of doing business for the man who planted the garden and needs to go to the Ministry of Agriculture and get certain things done, right? Ease of business, doing business when you go to the bank, things must be a smooth transition and not this nonsense spending a whole day in the bank just to get that little thing done. Go ahead.
Yes, correct. And ease of doing business, especially for foreigners as well. It's a level playing field, and this is what it is about. You are someone interested in setting up shop in Trinidad should not have to wait 60 days and 80, 85 days to get a license and all this kind of thing. You want to encourage diversification. You want to encourage business activity. You want to encourage employment of locals and so and so on. And yet, excuse me, and yet you're making the process as lengthy and cumbersome as possible. With the digitized format, you can speed up things like in a flash, as they say. And my goal in Tobago here is to do it from 2 days or 2 visits to the various agencies to less than 10 minutes, which you can do from the comfort of your home. And if you can't use a computer and so on, you'll have kiosk, meaning like, which will be manned to help you fill out the forms and what have you. So this is what development is. This is what people-centered development is, to bring the services to the masses of people, to ensure that they can do it from the comfort of their own homes. And if you're not computer literate, go to the center nearest you and they'll help you fill it out. But you can't, as before, you have to go to the office and spend a whole half day and so on to find one little thing, and you have to come back again to collect it. Check how much time is wasted for these things. So I'm happy to hear that, especially from the business side, things are working out nicely. Yeah. I also see that budget procedures are on the way. Talks and so on of the new expected budget in October, the first or the second around there. First Monday in October is when they're expecting to put forward a new budget for TNT for fiscal 2027. There's much anticipation about that budget because this is the second budget to be presented.
And which we should be and will be much better organized because we have a better grasp of things and things will be better structured to move forward. So, definitely going to see some good advancement. I mean, we've already seen progress with the government there.
Yeah, and this is the second year of UNC in power, so I guess you're talking about some hardcore decisions. And
Yeah, well, the first budget wasn't really our budget. We just had to kind of move along with what was there, but now this will be our budget,
So, well, last year they had one too, but this one is a real one where we should see a lot more economic activities as a spin-off from the budget, going forward, because you would have had, 18 months in office right now, so you can, or you should have a good solid hang of what is to be done and start delivering on some of the promises made in the manifesto. So we look forward to hearing what this new budget and its proposals will bring for the development of TNT. We hearing a lot of activities happening in the energy sector, but that's only one. I think the Ministry of Trade and Investment and Tourism now is getting a lot more active in its role in trying to woo foreign investment into the, not the oil and gas sector, but natural investment, FDIs as it's called, to other sectors, to encouraging, other big players in the non-energy sectors to come in and fill the void. So certain things need to happen because, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Dr. Ramov, you hearing us?
I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I lost Suman there just now. Are you hearing me?
Yes. There's
Dr. Ramov should be there, Doc.
Are you hearing me?
Not hearing him.
I am hearing you loud and clear. Yeah, loud and clear.
I'm talking, but I'm not hearing. Are you hearing me? No?
I am hearing you, Doc. Are you hearing me? Hello? You may probably need to log out and log in back.
Hello?
Yes. Are you hearing me, Doc?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you now, Suman.
Right. Gary, are you hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing. Go ahead, Doc.
Right. So,
hi, guys. Good evening.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you, Doc.
Yeah,
I was just mentioning to Gary the new expectations of the next budget is when it's 18 months the UNC has been at the helm. So we expect some serious deliverables in this upcoming fiscal 2027 budget and some real tangible, and measurable improvements in the economy to take place. This is the 19th month or the 20th month in power. So for the next 2 years or so, 2.5 years or so is where most of the activity should be happening. And so I don't know how you feel about that. This is crunch time, so to speak.
Dr. Ramov? Like he logged out again? Let's see. I'm not hearing him.
Yeah, I
Doc, check your mic. I don't know what's going on with your mic, but we're not hearing you. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, now we're hearing you good. Go ahead.
Right. No, what happened is that a couple of times I joined and I'm not hearing. Like I'm seeing Suman talking, but I'm not. After a while, it just goes. So I came on the laptop. I don't know. Maybe it's the phone.
The laptop is better. The laptop is better. Your phone, for some reason, was giving the issue.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So I just heard the last part of the conversation with the budget and whatever. You know, I was just we had a little ramen there, and then I had something out in the restaurant. So just came back in.
So we was recapping, the progress the government making. There was a clip I played here with Ramdeen and then Dr. Munila. Let's listen to this clip again. Go ahead, Doc. Hold on a second. 1 second. Listen to this, and then we will.
Our downstream by the policies that were put in place by the former administration.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald Ramdeen, said this situation forced the board of NGC to take the required steps.
We have had to go and undo transactions that were done before to bring gas into this downstream. When they talk about plants closing, they are responsible for that because they never made any provision for gas to go into the downstream. And we have had to compete. The last time I spoke here, I told you all, the NGC now doesn't hold any monopoly on gas, The NGC has to compete with upstreamers to buy gas at LNG prices to be able to supply our downstream.
Mr. Ramdeen said work is also underway to revamp the National Gas Company.
NGC has remained a pipeline company for 50 years without any vision to make an investment in the upstream, to buy a plant in the downstream, so that we can earn valuable foreign exchange. And those are the policies and the vision that is driving the energy sector at a ministerial level, at a prime ministerial level, at an NGC level. And the only people to benefit from that are the citizens of this country.
He said ensuring that downstream companies have the gas they need to operate is one of the company's main focus areas.
There are active discussions at every level to do certain things, prioritize our downstream, bring value to our country, to Atlantic LNG, have a footstep in the upstream, have a footstep in the downstream, and expand the operations of the NGC. Those are things that have not been done in 50 years.
Mr. Ramdeen was responding to reporters following a Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs ceremony to hand over the title deed for the Beachfield gas processing facility in Guayguari to NGC.
Following Cabinet's decision to remove county medical officers of health from the approval process, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development Dr. Kennedy Swarat Singh noted that government is addressing one of the key bottlenecks affecting the ease of doing business.
But the cost to businesses and to development activity for the delay in getting things approved has been significant. Both the EMA and Town Country, that falls under the remit of planning, but also, of course, with local government and other agencies. So we have to do better. These platforms will help us to do that. You would have recalled that
Minister Swarat Singh acknowledged that the delays have come at a significant cost to businesses and development activity. He said government now wants to identify where applications are being held up, with agencies expected to meet agreed processing timelines.
Because when you send in an application, almost as if you're sending in one application but it goes to multiple agencies, you are not concerned about which agency the bottleneck resides in. Our role has to be to dislodge those bottlenecks and to give you a response in an agreed time. Because once you send an application, the contractual obligation is that if we say it's going to take 30 days, you expect a response in 30 days. It mustn't be 90 days or...
Comments came as 4 new e-services were introduced on the developed TT platform, expanding the digital application process to include advertisements, car rental facilities, mining operations, and development variation requests. Crimson Logic Regional Director Naveen Bhatt said, Developed TT forms part of government's wider push to modernize public services.
The government has articulated an ambitious vision for national development, modernization, and economic transformation, supported by improved public sector efficiency and stronger digital services. Develop TT contributes directly to that vision by simplifying regulatory processes, improving accessibility, enhancing transparency, and enabling a more responsive and citizen-centric public service. Importantly, platforms such as Develop TT and TT BizLink are about more than digitization.
As the government focuses on improving the approval process, the new services will allow applicants to submit documents online, track applications, and receive digitally generated decision letters, while inspectors can upload site visit information in real time. Faith Chariot, TTT News.
So go ahead, Doc. Oops, Doc.
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's hear you. Let's hear you on it now. You know. So I mean, the government is making some progress here, and what I like about is the ease of doing business. And what Mr. Ramdeen was talking about is exactly we talked many times on this program about the destruction the PNM caused on our economic structure by their handling of the business, how they handle things. You know, their policies and everything was so destructive to our country, you know, and you've seen an ease of doing business, which we all preached on this program here about the ease of doing business, 110,000 times here about the ease of doing business. So I appreciate that word and that effort from Mr. Sarat Singh there, you know, that this is what we want. That is what's necessary to generate revenue stream. So go ahead, Doc, take it from there.
Well, I think basically, I had, I mean, we in the document I sent today, I'm doing something for another organization right now, and some of the topics came out, and in terms of a consultation, a budget consultation, which is, I understand what's happening. I mean, they go into communities and they're asking for persons to, you know, make their recommendations, you know, share their viewpoints. And actually, if you look at some of the things I said today, it's what is what's happening here now in terms of energy, in terms of foreign exchange, in terms of you know, easing up the public service, right? In terms of streamlining the public service. I mean, if you read the document I sent today, if you read it thoroughly, you would see that what is happening with the Minister Swarat Singh here is exactly what is mentioned in the document, and this is what's happening. So the document really says, well, okay, I don't know what is happening in the government. Only now we see it on the news that you are seeing certain mechanisms and processes are being streamlined. There's obviously with the ease of persons accessing information and documents and filling forms and all of those things, it is what was needed, what we had needed many years ago in this country. Sad to say, from what we are looking at here. I mean, politics is something. You'll always find that one party will come and say the other party never did anything. It's repeated. I mean, you're hearing the same story over and over, and you will hear it again. And in 5 years' time, if another party comes in power, they will say that this government wasn't doing anything and it messed up the whole system. I mean, when People's Partnership was doing so much for this country, I mean, we saw tangible results. They lost the election. God knows why, because there were things that the government was doing, and it is the same thing that is happening now. You are making leaps and bounds. You're seeing things happening, but is that going to win you the election? And I think this is something that what I'm saying, therefore, there are certain how should I put it? You know, when you do something, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I think that's as simple as it gets. And how you do it is really, you know, in Rotary, we have our theme this year is create lasting impact. Now, you could walk into a room and you could say hello to someone, but if you don't engage and you don't create impact, you don't do something that has a legacy and it has some tangible results that you could measure and say, well, look, I have taken this country from point A to B, right? The politics of most countries, look at how Trump won the election. You know, look at how UNC won the election this time because of dissent in the PNM. right, with Rowley and Stewart. So the thing about it is that there are two things we have to look at, and this is what my document is sort of saying. My perspective is very simple, and we have been repeating this in the program. Everything, Gary, that is in my document, right? You saw it today in those two clips that you showed, right? The focus of government in trying to improve and streamline the public service, the state boards, the energy industries. We saw the public service in certain areas where, you know, online transactions and the ability to use IT and all of these things, all of that is going to help, right? And of course, if you tie it back to what I'm saying, is that if you want to give people increases, right, you give people increases in institutions and ministries where you're seeing results, right, for what these people are doing. So, for example, if I'm going to raise the salaries of nurses, clearly, right, it means that the health sector is going to have to show that the nurses are coming to work, that when they come to work, there are certain things that are measurable that says, well, look, these guys are improving healthcare by reducing the waiting time in the clinic. So if it takes half an hour for you to come in and get a medication in the clinic, or get an appointment to see a doctor for a cancer screen, right? And that's the standard international benchmark, half an hour, and it's taking 6 hours in Trinidad. With all the money that you're injecting in the budget for healthcare, and a person still waits 5 hours or 6 hours to see a doctor, or 3 months to get a biopsy report back from the hospital, it is, as a citizen, I'm not an economist, I'm not a politician, but as a citizen in the health sector, this is what I really want to see. And this is what a certain category of voters in the marginal seats are going to want to see, right, when the next election comes around, right? And we're entering, as I said, the second phase of government, which means that you're now beginning to deliver. And all I'm saying is that maybe they should focus more on trying to justify, well, I have done this, I have said in my manifesto that I'm going to do this, and don't go and say, well, yeah, well, look, I did this, and you know, try to streamline what you're doing so that at the end of 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, you can actually say, well, look, I have completed this, or I'm not going to do this again because it's not feasible, right? And basically tie it in with everything else. So I'm very happy in what I'm seeing. I think that the budget is going to be a budget that, you know, is going to be putting us in a situation where we're going to, as a country, right, we're going to see hopefully some plans that will give some tangible results as we go forward. I'm seeing some of the things that the minister texted when I sent the document to him this morning. He texted me back and said, well, look, they have the technical people. A lot of the issues that I raised, or I recommended, or I spoke to in the document that I sent have been discussed. It has been on the table, and it is, they are satisfied with the decisions that were made, and there is a pathway for sustainability, and there is a pathway, right, with the foreign investor confidence is one of the, I guess, the indicators that he's saying that he's using. All right. I read the IMF report, which is basically a lot of the stuff that I put in my document is based on the IMF recommendations that was in June and earlier this year with respect to our country and where it's positioned. A lot of the metrics that I put in, right, is based on the metrics that you know, that is supposed to be used in terms of percentage of GDP, right, in terms of some of the things that is using your GDP as the denominator. So it gives you an idea of the money that you're spending. And I did indicate that it's not so much about what you're spending, and it's not really that you're measuring, okay, I spent $10 billion on healthcare, and I opened 25 police posts. What you're not going to have to say is that, look, I reduced the amount of home invasions by 20%. I reduced domestic violence by 10%. You know, and this is basically what when you invest money now in the country. All I'm asking now is that maybe you have to start tying that into some of the deliverables and begin to measure what you're doing. We spoke about this many months ago
yeah.
where we talked about, look, you're going to streamline the public service. You want to give these people an increase. You promise them that you're going to give them a raise. Good? Yes. But now you can say, okay, I am going to give you a raise if you're actually going to be, showing me that you're streamlining your part of the service. No duplications. Try to look at redundancies, try to look at wastage, look at how you're procuring items. In other words, then tighten up your ministry, tighten up your services. And of course, I'll give you because your performance is going to be better. It's not only going to help the government, it's actually going to save, look, if I'm saving $20-50 million in a particular ministry because of redundancies, wastage, poor procurement, absenteeism, all of these things, overtime and all of this, and you actually cut those expenditures. And if you're going to be paying them a salary, you're actually going to be in a sense, balancing it in a way, because it means you're spending money on salaries, but you're also getting performance. And this is what you're actually saying. So this is what I'm saying. So I think I was happy that he did say, and he reassured me that they have it under control, and I am okay. That was my contribution, because it's a budgetary consultation, and if he says they have it under control and they're going to be doing well, and it's going to be a good budget for the people, well, we see how it goes.
Yeah. We just have 30 more months, 30 more months to make an impact. 18 months have gone already. We always say that the last year cannot do anything major, no major activity in the fifth year. So I think this budget, they really have to get themselves cracking in a number of areas. And you talk about performance, Doc, it's all based on merit-based performance rather than, there's a lot of what's called performance appraisals have not been done. Sometimes they're 3 and 4 years lagging behind. And you expect these same people who have not performed in the past to perform now. This is why I am saying that, and I share your opinion that it has to be merit-based at the output end. Has things improved or not? If it has improved, then show me. So that I can measure and say, yes, things have improved. That is performance-based appraising. So I share that output, that performance from the output side, rather than tell me I have spent $9 billion in education this year, $8 billion last year. But what is the output? What are we getting for that? Is hospital waiting time, has it shortened? They've been able to procure medication and so on, that they don't have to wait half day to get, fill simple prescriptions and what have you. So that is the end result, or the KPIs as it's called.
Yeah.
So I am saying that, 30 more months, the government has already started working and getting things done and delivering to the people. And, at least communicate every quarter what have you been doing. Don't wait at the end of the year to communicate and say this and that and that. Because if after the 3 months of the year pass and you ain't spend money, you have to come and say why you have not spent it. And these sort of things. So at least level with the population. This is what is to be done for the year. And my plan is to do this in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and like that. You having the same people, you can't implement with the same crowd because they have failed in the past. Put it bluntly, they have failed in the past, and you have the same people trying to implement your projects for you. What's going to happen? Dr. Maharaj, let me hear you on that.
Oh, no, I'm glad Dr. Ramrup is on, because I read his document that I think he forwarded to somebody, and my first impression was that I hope there's a think tank in the UNC via the government side of things. I mean, the parliamentary arm of the government, who would have somebody to look at this and vet it and list out what is applicable for now, what could be done in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and perhaps if they need to call him in to discuss. But my impression was that the laundry list of things he has cannot be covered quickly. And my first question to him, and I wish I would have liked to write and ask him, but he can answer it now. Did you ever blend this with the manifesto? I don't think. First of all, I think that a manifesto is a sales pitch and is not really policy as such, although it can be used against you. But again, it is not something. It's not a black and white document. It's a guide to what you would do if and when you get into office. But it's not a foolproof kind of thing. So I don't know if when you're writing these things, you corresponded to what was in their manifesto, because some of these things I felt would have been in their manifesto as well, and that would reinforce your point since it's already in the manifesto. So I guess you would have done your homework and compare and contrast. So many things may not be there, but you, as you said, you're doing it from a citizen point of view and also a legal mind point of view, and therefore it might be something that they need to really consider. But there's a long list of things you mentioned, and many of them are strategic and not really quantifiable in the short run. So I don't know if you looked at the manifesto and compare and contrast it what you're saying. If it is in the manifesto, it's strengthening your position, really. That's my bottom line I'm trying to make. So could you let me know, please? Thank you. Where's Dr. Ron?
Actually, Sorry. Go ahead, Samant. Yeah.
Doc, the plan of the UNC was to have manifestos for the various sectors of the economy. So health will have had their manifesto, works would have had their manifesto, public utilities would have their manifestos, and at the end, all the manifestos were combined into a manifesto, and that manifesto became government policy to drive the economy forward, meaning that became the blueprint. So whenever I do something, and I'm sure Doc does something, is within the realms of the manifesto. Like something might be, one of the big buzzwords is that people-centered government. What does that mean? It means services to the people. Make life easy as possible to the population. You identify the vulnerable people in society, and you plan accordingly. Yeah, Doc. I wanted to make that point.
And that is well. I mean, of course, Dr. Maharaj, you would know, and this is what we're doing. I'm doing some work right now for a consultancy that is looking at some of the Caribbean islands and in terms of the whole resilience. You see, it's an international consultancy which has gotten a contract with one of the UNDP and United Nations organizations. So I'm an international consultant. So I'm working virtually to look at some of the documents that they're sending, and part of it is looking at countries like Trinidad and Tobago, which are actually more resilient than some of the other states when it comes to small island states. One of the things that I had to do was to look at the manifestos, look at the IMF report, because we're looking at climate change issues. I mean, you can see what is happening with the rainfall in Trinidad and most of the Caribbean islands in a drought period.
Consider New York too.
Right. I mean,
yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about, when I was in ODPM in 2011 to 2016, we were already saying that there is a drought in the Caribbean and it's going to be running for the next 25 years. So even then, we were talking about the drought. And therefore, it's not new news. It has already been there in our circles in disaster risk reduction and climate change discussions. So yes, Doc, I did look at the manifestos, and okay, so what it is really is we're saying, look, okay, remember there was a promise to give public servants a salary increase, right? And there has been movements towards that, but you're seeing some pullbacks, you're seeing some politics in the sense that okay, you don't have the money, you just do not have the money to do that, right? Right now, if you do that, the country is going to suffer, and we're going to have issues. And you see what's happening because once you do it with one group of persons, you're already seeing that other persons are coming up on the table and saying, "Look, I want money too." So it is going to be a cascading nightmare, right? If it happens, and if they don't get what they want, especially the persons who were with the government and who work with them, and who obviously looking for the benefits now, and they don't get it, right? It is going to damage the government, and they're going to lose points. I mean, that is going to happen, and if we're not careful, it's one of the problems. I mean, yes, we had them when we were working. We had them. We had them. We had the unions. We have the people. We brokered, we brokered a relationship, but these relationships are very they're not very sustainable. And if you look at the reality of your budget, so all we are saying is, look, we have had a year. We inherited, like Mr. Ramdeen is saying in NGC, we inherited a nightmare and nonsense. These people, in the last 10 years, I mean, now that we're seeing what happened and what was happening, it is unbelievable. Some of the things that we are hearing, that from some of the guys that we have in there now. So it is very interesting, but at the same time now we will be caught in a trap if we now don't understand that we have to do certain things. We have to streamline the public service, because if you look at recommendation 9, that I said, look, develop a responsible public sector compensation strategy. Now that is just my recommendation based on my perspective, not an economist, right? Because we took that from the manifesto, we took that from the relationships that when the UNC brokered deals with all of the unions, they came on the stage, they came on the platforms, and they said, we are going to give you your 10%, we are going to give you your money, right? So what is happening now? You have a case where you have a public sector compensation strategy. The country cannot afford a substantial salary increase, and I said that. But I said that government should communicate this transparency by protecting lower income workers. In other words, then the people who are going to be suffering, right, are the grassroots people who are going to be the ones who get money to go on the buses, the ones who get money to go to the rallies, the ones who actually are having a problem right now getting $22 less or even trying to get a work. I have a restaurant right now, and there are people begging. I put out one advertisement, and I had over 50, 60 people come looking for jobs, and they're willing to take $20 an hour and work. And the whole thing about it is that there's a real problem on the ground right now. I mean, I took back the restaurant, but I'm actually seeing some of the sufferings on the people on the ground, and they're telling you it's a difference. Now, obviously, there's a cash flow issue where money was flowing from the CPEP and obviously we don't need to go through there. But now as government, and we have to come now and say, look, I promised these people 10%. So I said, look, there's a 100-day action, doctor. I did give I mean, obviously, the strategy is going to be over a period of time. So I looked at 100-day actions where I said, look, if you are doing the budget, you ask for consultation, you ask for people to tell you what they think. And I'm saying, okay, you promise these people in the manifesto, and you promise these people in the public service that you're going to have to pay them. And I'm saying, well, look, develop a medium-term settlement schedule, right, for outstanding compensation obligations, but prioritize low-income employees where legally and administratively feasible. And then the 1 to 3 year action, right, you link future compensation reform with productivity. We just talked about digitization. We saw the little clip there with the minister. Workforce planning, performance, absenteeism, etc. So that's it. I mean, it's going to take some time, but it's just my perspective.
Hello?
I think we lost Dr. Ramos' voice.
Yeah, no, so he's making the case again. We need time because Gary sent us some article about some guy who write a little 2 paragraphs something about talking about it when the UNC deliver this, then they're supposed to deliver equal all kind of promises they make, and they're supposed to deliver. And that's what I'm telling you. That they're making the case for the UNC to have a second 5 years. Because you want what they should do in 5 years, you want to see it in 1 year. Can't happen, so you have to wait. I know you're anxious to get back in government, but they can't come like they don't happen like that. You had to go through the motion for 5 years and go back and try to win the election next time around. This is 5 years, and we have to run this 5 years to get back another 5 and another third 5 and even a fourth 5 or many 5s. The only time I say we should change this government is when they have equality. Give the PNM equal number of years. And I talk about the voter will do that. This is not a planned economy. And the voters must give the UNC equal number of years, and then let's compare. And then that's a fair comparison. In the meantime, you give one 75 years and you give one 5 years, and you want to compare. There's no comparison. You can't compare. The PNM is way ahead. They're supposed to be way ahead. And they're not, but they're supposed to be way ahead because they have more years. So they have more things to show. You just get in for 5 years, and after 5 years, they pelt you out. What do we have to show? It's not equal. So if you want to talk about get delivery, give us the same number of years and we go talk. Then we can compare who better than who. Don't give me 5 years and give them 75 years and they want to compare.
Yeah, we need 10. We need 10 or more. We need 10 or more.
We need equal number of years.
We need 55 years. Now we talk about 10.
Look at my track record.
We have to start at 10. I think that
no comparison. If they want to garrison a little, you know who are these people writing this crap. But really, you can't. The UNC they warm the seat enough here. They just sat down and looking where they find out where the toilet is, where the urinal is, where they still find out all of these little things. The people are settling you. You're ready to change government. I understand. You want to get back in, sure.
Yeah.
But the people ain't going to do that yet, sir. You got to think about 5 years first and then a second 5 and a third 5. All you ain't coming back there. And you see all this crap they're talking about 100,000 PNM didn't come out to vote. No, data had no down 100,000 PNM didn't come out to vote. Many of them would have voted for the UNC, and many of the UNC didn't come out to vote. If you want to know who didn't come out to vote, look at the disgruntled UNC. Because as far as they're concerned, Kamala didn't stand a chance. So why go and waste my vote? So they run with one pack of story. They want to justify why it is that the UNC only win because the PNM didn't vote. The PNM had 28% of the vote. They have always been winning by 28% of the electorate. They never increase the size of their voting margin. From Dai Kingdom this is their story. They are always a minority position, less than 50. Very rare they get 50%. They're always under 50%. And the opposition split up and have the other 61, 60 thing. So if they want to see, they're ready. Where is the equality? Where's all of we? Everybody wins. How come? Yeah, everybody will have to win because everybody winning. You know who? I told you about this already the other day. For them to be, their winning mean that you have the UN PNM side must have more than the other side, and then that is equal. Then all are we equal. All are we equal when the PNM areas get more than the UNC areas, then we equal, including Tobago. That is their measure of equality. So in the UNC thing, all of us get the same, has to get the same thing. Because you see what happened with the people in Port of Spain, the mayor and them, they want more money. Because they are accustomed getting more money from the PNM because the PNM discriminates. They are not equal. I hope the UNC is treating everybody equally. Everybody wins. This is not a slogan. This is a reality. Everybody wins. When the opposition, the non-PNM people get back in, it happened under Pandey, it happened under the NAR, it happened under UNC. So let the people smoke, put this in the pipe, and let the Trinidad people put it in a pipe and smoke it. No, come, you ready for? I know you're anxious to get you're anxious to get back in because the freeness, the cheapness, and the freeness you get in, and then the bread can run again. So you're offended by that. If everybody wins, you get less. That is what your problem is. Because when everybody wins, you get less. So you have a problem with getting less. Because you need to get more. And therefore, it's not fair if you don't get more than everybody else. So we had to sell that. You had to sell this to them. I mean, the UNC government doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
who's listening?
I agree.
Who's listening? Who is looking on? Except us. But we are skin in the game.
It's as you say, Doc. You know, the timing is very important, and they are doing things, and I think that asking too much of them too early is I mean, you know, is unreasonable. And I know that, you know, but it's good. I mean, it's good to see that they are responding in the sense that they did say, okay, the Minister of Finance replied to the consultation recommendation right away. He looked at it and he said, Stephen, so and so and so, which is very good. It means, therefore, that, you know, he is saying, well, look, we have things in place. No disrespect to you, but things are going on, which is basically what we are saying. We would like to know, and he said it is happening, that's all we wanted. Some of the things that, if you look at the digitization recommendation, we see what this Minister Swarsingh is saying. It will actually feed back into public administration. We talked about this, Suman, earlier on. Public administration is very important because it is a manner of actually trying to make sure that you're running a tight ship, so to speak, and it's going to save us money. It'll give us money to give back to people who are performing, right? Which is basically a couple of the recommendations. I wrote quite a few over the last few months on the emergency services in terms of healthcare, ambulance systems. We talked about the call center, which is actually one of the recommendations in terms of streamlining, making your constituents, you know, don't have to choose between the type of services that they want. Rather, you have an emergency, you call one number, and let the government agency send the appropriate emergency provider for you. You're going to ask for more money in October. You're going to say, well, look, we got $9 billion in health, and we want $10 billion. So we see Dr. Tim Gopi Singh has been doing a lot of work in exactly what I'm saying. He's actually streamlining the North Central. He's actually providing more operations. He's actually cutting down the waiting time. He's increased the number of operations that are being done. He's widened the net. He's advertising. You see, Southwest is doing something. You're not seeing too much on Eastern. You're not seeing too much on Northwest regional. You're seeing Southwest. You're seeing North Central. We're not seeing too much in Tobago. Tobago is part of Trinidad and Tobago still. All right. So we saw some operations being done in Tobago. So you are seeing things, and I guess he is saying, and I am saying that okay, we're seeing all of these things, but we talked about saying, look, somebody's going to be asking a question in the next 100 days, the next 3 years, and they're going to be saying, well, okay, it took us from point A to point B. We need to know where point A is. That's what we've been talking about. You're going to ask for $9 billion, or you're going to run another deficit budget. Well, okay, that's fine. I mean, the thing is that we are getting performance. We are seeing better hospital care. We are seeing better ambulance response time. We are seeing less people dying on the roads because more people are being taken to hospitals. And that is my perspective. I am actually on the ground. I had a patient last week who, a young child who actually was injured in an accident, and they went to the hospital, and they were waiting so long there. The child father, around 2 a.m. in the morning, they called me and they said, Dr. Amram, I'm waiting in casualty here for nearly 12 hours and I haven't seen the doctors yet. And I was able to secure an X-ray at one of the medical centers. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, my son and I, we put him we sedated him and we fixed his hand. And and he was able to go home after about 18 hours after the accident. So things like that, it actually worries me because PNM, when they were there for 10 years and they didn't improve the system, I can't ask Dr. Bodo to improve it after 1 year. And that's not what we are asking. What we are saying now is that we need now that we're in power, we need to create an environment that when we retire, when we are at the mercy of the government authorities, when Dr. Maharaj comes home for holiday and he lands at the airport and he goes to see his relatives for prayers or something, and God forgive, for me nothing happens, but if something happens and he needs to have an ambulance or his grandchild needs to have an ambulance in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. in the morning, we want to make sure that our government now, over the next few years, will be able to improve that and to make sure that that child lives, and gets an ambulance response that is equivalent, to an ambulance response in the United States or Europe or something at best. Of course, those countries, we do have long wait times too. But the point is that, we are a small country. We should be able to do this. It's not impossible. We only have 1.3 million people, so it is achievable. And we had a government over the past 10, 12 years who didn't do anything at all with respect to improving that. We're blaming them.
And spending a lot of money, you can't show us what the money spent for.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Millions
But
of dollars.
the point we need to get across here is, all right, so listen, the government, under the leadership of Mrs. Bisesa, promised certain things. But it didn't mean or wasn't meant that she can wave a magic wand and fix everything at the same time.
That is the point.
So what we have to do here is to clarify, especially where Mr. Ramdeen did here, is he was showing the damages. He was making a point about the damages done to the country and hoping that some people can grasp it. And we will have to, the thing about it, these things you have to keep singing it, because some people, the propaganda is so heavy that you have to keep counterattacking and singing it louder and louder all the time. All right, because the people have to understand the level of damages done to our economy and our conduct with dealing with business. It's like the second ease of doing business. How easy Exxon was talking about, how easy it was them to acquire certain things to get going. These are the things that the government have been putting in place. The farmers, like I said, I would like to reiterate on the farmers, with these guys working out there in the sun and they go to the Ministry of Agriculture to get certain things done for their business. This should be an ease of doing business. They go to the bank, should be ease of doing business. There has to be respect for our citizens, and the customer service has to improve. These are the things that we getting involved in politics for. Otherwise, we don't want to be bothered with it. Go ahead, Dr. Ramo.
No, well, I don't have much to add in the sense that it's what I'm saying in summary is that the whole focus, maybe not this year, but because we're still, what we should say, green, we still have people who now trying to get themselves sorted out, and we just don't have the money. God, we just don't have the money. But we have to look at how we are moving forward. And I'm saying don't go and say, well, look, we made promises. And we want to achieve those promises. What I'm saying is that tell the country, look, I made a promise, but I just can't do it now. And the reality is, right, we're gonna have to do this and this and this to get that to you.
But the Dr. Prime Minister did say she's gonna fix it, but she didn't say she'll fix it with a magic wand.
That's the point.
The thing about it is she intends to fix it.
Yeah. So the way that you do that. Yeah, the way that you do that is the language the language that you project. And we keep talking it. Dr. Maharaj, you talked about this. Communication is one of the key elements that would need to be professionally done, and done according to proper teachings. I mean, there's schools on communication. There's universities that teach people how to communicate, especially political communication. So we have to be very careful about the language and communication, both formal and informal. And one of the most important indicators, or one of the most, what we should say, one of the most important tools that a government has in terms of communication, both formally and informally, is the budget presentation that they make every year. It's you know what I'm talking about. It's their statement. Is they're coming to the country to say, okay, look, right? We have a manifesto based on a number of manifestos. We are spending money on different ministries. Look at crime, for example. We just came and told you that we are putting all of these police posts, and there is a reason that we're doing that. It is going to cost. It's not going to come cheap, but there's a cost. So we are saying to you now as a government, okay, good. So you made a promise and you kept the promise. But what we need to do now is to focus on the priorities. You're going to say now, okay, I am putting these police posts, but I'm putting it in accordance with a type of planning, so that I'm going to measure with the police posts, I'm going to measure a number of things. I talked about youth engagement, domestic violence, the time that it takes to respond within a community, ambulance response time, disaster management within that community in terms of things like flooding, right? The ability to look at the vulnerable populations within that community, right? So there are a number of items that the police post brings to that, so that the money that you're spending to put into that, the promises that you made, you're going to see the rewards, and the rewards are going to be tangible and intangible based on all of these things. That's what my document says. So what I'm really telling you is that you're doing it. You have started to do it. You need time to do it, right? There's no money to do it, but be careful, because don't go now and when you say I'm going to give X amount of dollars to this person, and I'm going to give $100,000 to this one, and $1,000 to all the police officers, etc., and $1,000 to all the baby people who are breastfeeding and all. We have to be careful with that type of budgeting, and we have to be very careful, because we want to make sure that we put money into resilience rather than dependence, right? So these are the messages, right? That when we do a budget now going forward in this day and age, we're going to have to project those ideas. So actually, I'm saying what they're doing. I'm saying what they're doing, and I'm very happy that the minister did indicate to me, look, they're doing all of these things, right? Which is, I'm very happy. Basically, this morning when I sent it, right, this was my perspective based on some work that I'm doing right now, right? In terms of all of this, in terms of resilience. And this part of our resiliency in this country is based on our financial situation, our economic situation. The main pillars that I mentioned are the pillars that the government came forward and after they win the election, and they said, this is what we're going to improve. We're going to improve the economy. We're going to try to sort out your foreign exchange issues. We're going to improve the healthcare of the nation in many ways. We are going to reduce the crime situation in the country. I mean, remember, they said all of that, right? And we are going to digitize. We're going to bring things in accordance with using IT and whatever. We're going to streamline the public service. We're going to make access more easy, So I am actually really, I'm happy today that the minister indicated that all of this has been discussed. His answer to me is that yes, there are people who are experts. They have sat almost every recommendation that I have made over the past few months and years that they have been there. And they are in the process of speaking it now. He is happy with the decisions that they have made. So he has reassured me that every single recommendation that I have made, right, they are okay with it, and they're seeing the results, and it's going to be good. So I am actually today I'm much better off than when I was like yesterday. And all the conversations we are seeing here today is exactly. In fact, I'm very happy that Dr. Maharaj spelled it out. We cannot get. We don't want to have the other side come back in this government, in this country, over the next 10, 20 years. Because we were seeing so much good stuff happening under the People's Partnership, and I am scared, very scared, because we were actually, we had already, tendered, right, for one call number, right, with the Central Tenders Board. It was when we lost the election, the night that we lost the elections, about a week before, Central Tenders Board was actually going to tender for a 911 call system. That's how close we were to achieving that. You know what I mean? And amazingly, just 1 week after, all of that was pulled out. All of that just was lost. And I mean, having one call number is such an important thing. For me, I'm a doctor. We lose, I mean, I swear to God, we lose so much people, lives, limbs, livelihoods, because of not just having one call number. I mean, you don't understand what I'm saying, but it's a really, really important thing to have in this country, So, Minister has really reassured me that it is going to happen. Maybe it wouldn't happen this year, but it's going to happen because it's on the table. So let's see what happens.
I just want to make this quick point before you all leave tonight, because I see the hour is getting very late. I might come back to this later on, but Dr. Ramrup, you mentioned on that wages, that the government doesn't have the money to pay the wages now, and therefore they gotta let the people at least tell them something. I would tell you this though. I highlight this very early on what the problem would be. So this is not the problem. I came to that. I talked about that sometime in the past. Because your supply side has to match. So when the government gives a pay raise to people, what do they do with it? They usually buy goods and services. Earlier, I told you all that in 6 months' time, we should see an impact on the import bill in terms of food, that we should have a local-based consumption, so that we depend more on import substitution, so that when the civil servants or whoever get the wages, it's circulating society, it's create demand, and when that demand is created, the GDP rises. When GDP rises, the government gets more income, and therefore they have more money to spend and more money. So that circular flow, MV equals to PT. I think somebody still there, he might also identify with this. That the MV equal to PT, money in circulation, mean that the government will have additional taxes, because every dollar you get is taxed. While we have wages beyond a certain point, you have to pay taxes, and the taxes are going to the government. So when you stimulate the economy by giving a wage and an increase in wage, the government also get their wage package up, and therefore that circular thing about society. And that is why you have to separate the spending in terms of foreign exchange versus local currency. I want to make that point because I'll come back to it a little later again, whenever I intend to give you all a good treatise on how the economy really works, how the money really flows in society. So I wanted to, because I heard the PNM make that argument that you didn't have the money. When the government give you a 10% raise, they get back a good part of portion of that, because it's a good multiplier effect. The government gets, when the cycle is over, the government gets another 70%. When the cycle is over with the circulation, the velocities of money circulated in the demand. So when we give our employee, the only problem with this, and that is why I'm making the point, the only problem with this is when you get a raise, if it goes into inflation and nothing else happens, and that is where the destruction will happen. But the government will still get a certain percentage because of the tax structure, the progressive tax system. Every year, increased dollar gets an increase to government by way of taxes, and therefore they will get the benefit out of it. So I want to make that point because I see the PNM make that certain point as well. As though the government had to have money like a budget, to compare any government like a budget, but like you have to have a budget as a family, and when the budget done, you starve. No, the government doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. But I want to make that a point in Some other time we'll pick this up again. But understand, I think Dr. Arnold understand what I'm saying here now. And not, of course, Suman understand my point about the circulation of money in society. Government gets a tax return on it. So all is not spent. The government gets back out another 70% from circulation. The only problem again with that, if your supply side doesn't match your demand side, inflation itself. But the government still get their percentage and taxes. It goes back into the system. So the more it circulates, the greater will be. The more the money circulates, the greater will be the tax incentive, the tax income for the government. And that is why it will take a little while to pay everybody. They will get paid, but in due course, because the coffers of the government will keep increasing as money circulates in society. The same thing we will do. And I want to say this last point. I think the last point. Maybe this last one about the budget. I think this is the second or third budget. The second, right? Is it the third? This is the third budget, right?
Second.
Oh, well, you haven't seen nothing yet. You have a lot of you haven't seen nothing yet. Oh, this is you can't hold them on nothing. They like I said, it's just warming. They're not warming up the seat. These people have stood down properly in the chairs. You ask them for nothing. You gotta let them run for 3 years. After 3 years, visit, come back again. You all too hurry. You want it done yesterday, and you never done it for 10 years. But you want it done you want me to do it in 10 days. I know that 10 days worker. Different people are talking about. We are here for 100. We are here for a long time. We'll get it all done, but it takes time to get it done. Sir, I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you, it will get it done.
And we must reiterate, and we can't let it go, easy. That the fact is there has been serious damage to our economy, and because of the mismanagement and incompetence of the PNM. And this is not just saying so. There is realistic damage from the oil refinery, oil business, the steel mill. I mean, everything. They just crashed it. And then, and while doing that, they gave themselves the biggest raise in any government. Dr. Rowley left with a heavy sum, and these are the people they're running after. They're running after the oppressor. The man smack around everybody, give himself a big raise and left, and said to hell with you. He never take into consideration if your children have milk or they didn't have nothing, or the children didn't have a computer, or they didn't have internet, or your road bad, they didn't have water. Rowley didn't care about that. Rowley took care of himself, and he left with a big raise because he think he deserved it. We can't keep silent. We understand cannot keep silent.
You make that point, but you also make the point that what you'll be doing after all of this.
Right. So what I'm saying to you, the point is here, Doc, we must sing on this, is that the Prime Minister made certain promises. She intends, it's like you promise your children to get them something, but you going to work towards it. You're not going to wave a magic wand. And we must assist in indicating clearly there has been serious damage to the country. It's not that the Prime Minister don't want to give you quicker than she giving it to you, but it's the fact that she has to put certain things in place. It's just like your mother and father had to put certain things in place before they can give you, when we growing up, the things that they want to give you. My dad promised me a bicycle when I passed common entrance. He delivered. He promised to bring me to America, after he did certain things, and he did for a holiday, and then, we relocated. But the thing about it is they had to work towards it. There was, but we had a team was mismanaging the country. There wasn't a good parent. There was an infidel parent. Okay, so we took away the government from an infidel parent who squandered the goods of the country, squandered the opportunity, destroyed the opportunity, and they did so much damage. It's so severe. So this must be understood, And guys, if you have the time, we're on tomorrow night, same time, 8 o'clock. I want to try to get Vade. Vade had some technical problems, so if you have the time, we're going on tomorrow night.
Okay.
So anything you got, so anything you forget to say, tomorrow night we're on. You know, but wrap up if you want to. Anything else you want to add? I mean, and Dr. Marsh, prepare yourself for tomorrow night because we gonna be
No, I think
coming.
we want to talk about the only second budget. I thought it was the third, but we are still not yet. We really have to. These people really had no conscience. And in fact, it shows the level of financial illiteracy. When you're asking this government to do in 12 months, what will take 12 years? You have no measurement of productivity when you asking someone to do something that is not possible, is impossible. And plus, what Gary is saying that we inherited, we knew it was going to be bad. We discovered, and I hope by a year or so we see some people taken before the court for malfeasance and for bubble and for cheating and for bribe taking and all. We hope some of them end up in court to answer some charge. So in the meantime, we just keep on going. We are second budget.
So Dr. Maharaj and Dr. Ramroop, you didn't get to see this one, so I want you guys to see this.
We're extremely pleased to meet another partner, new friend in Indian Oil Corporation. That delegation to meet us was led by no less a person than the chairman of Indian Oil Corporation, Mr. A. Sani, and he led a very important team to meet us. Indian Oil, just to inform you in case some may not know, Indian Oil is India's largest state-owned integrated energy company with operations across the hydrocarbon value chain, including refining, marketing, pipelines, exploration and production, and petrochemicals. At that meeting, it was interesting just to place in perspective that Indian Oil operates 10 refineries in India. We're extremely pleased that they have this capacity, this breadth, and we intend to work with them to ensure that we participate in a process that would lead to the reopening and restarting of the refinery at Pointe-à-Pierre. We discussed with that delegation the provision of technical expertise and strategic directions. They have a wealth of experience in refinery capacity at various refineries, as I said, across Asia. The delegation indicated that there is a readily available local workforce to support the resumption of refining operations. We were told that Indian Oil was also very much interested in the entire Caribbean region and would be happy to return to Trinidad and Tobago, having done some work here, I believe, in the late 1990s. We expect within a short period of a few weeks, certainly post-Carnival, we expect that we will be in a position to welcome a technical team from Indian Oil to look at the refinery and to give us some direction, some support. They were extremely pleased to return to Trinidad and Tobago since they had been here before, and they were extremely happy to know, which they indicated, the powerful local labor force that we have in refining and oil and gas. So that dialogue is ongoing. We were able to meet as well with
Modi didn't come here alone because of the diaspora.
Okay, gentlemen, go ahead.
He came here looking for opportunities.
Like Suman drop out there?
Yeah, he's not there.
Dr. Maharaj?
Good night.
Dr. Ramrup?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. So that was a little thing that you didn't get to see before, but what I'm saying to you, the negotiations is in place.
I say again, I'm agreeing with Dr. Maharaj. We have to give these people a chance, and I'm happy they're answering the questions that we're asking. I mean, as I said, it is good, and we just have to see how it goes and support them as best as possible. I think that it's going to be a second-year budget. It's not going to be an easy budget. They're going to have to be some tightening of belts. It's going to be a reality budget. We're going to have to cut here and give here, and obviously the economics is going to play a very big part going forward. And I agree with Doctor. If you put more money out in the public there, this is what I'm just saying about the workers in the country right now. If you put out the money, you're gonna get the flows, And if you get the flows, things are going to pick up. And if things pick up, it means that it'll be better for all of us. So, I mean, as I said, I'm happy, and I'm actually feeling a little better, now. And I look at your clips there. I look at the clips on the thing. I see the Minister of Energy, with the oil refinery possibly going to be, at least starting. I was hoping that he would have a lot more discussions with Suriname and Guyana, and that we have a regional point-of-care refinery, because if these are the people who, I mean, this country helped Guyana a lot when they were down. I mean, now is the time that Guyana is in a stage where they must be looking for a refinery. They have all that oil, they're sending it away. The point is that, we are right here, and we have in fact, right now in Guyana, a lot of the workers in their industry is from Trinidad, and this is something that I know a lot of persons who was working in the refinery, who was working in the downstream industries, providing valves and all of these things. They're in Guyana now. So it's almost like a lot of Trinidadian people who are in the oil industry are currently in Guyana. So I'm hoping that the regional sustainability and our regional partners, they could come together with India coming down there. I'm hoping that they could make this refinery back again and get some foreign exchange in the system. So I'm hopeful, and I'm pleasantly happy. So I would like to support the guys and wish them best going forward. It's going to take some time, and as it comes closer to the next elections, well, I'm hoping they will just ramp up the performance and the measurements, all this thing we're talking about. But as I said, right now, it's just to get things going and take your time. And as you say, Gary, if you can't do it, you can't do it. We didn't say we're going to do it right away, and the boss is doing it slowly but surely. Promises are being kept, slowly but surely. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? The point I want to make here is that she intends to do it, and we're not going to let anybody get away to say that she fooled them, but that is not was her intention. She said she's going to do it. She didn't say how soon she's going to do it, because she had to look at what she's dealing with there in order to give to the Prime Minister has all intentions. If there's one thing I know for a fact, she has all the intentions of delivering. It's just that she has to put certain things in place, which is she's doing. And I mean, this must be pretty much clarified that, that her intention, she didn't fool nobody, she didn't mislead anybody for power, like some people will like to think. And she intends to do it, she will do it, and the team is working towards it, and we've seen the evidence of it, and we have to give them the time to restructure things.
And just to let you know, Gary, she can't do it alone.
Well, I mean, she's leading the team, but what I'm saying to you is her intention. But Doc, what the point, I always make the point that we have a role to play here, right? We have a role in the communication. We have a role. We have to counterattack the misinformation. We have to share the advice like we've been doing. And I mean, Dr. Ramov has been writing a lot of things. Suman been writing a lot of things, and advising the government, and it's been acknowledged. It is being acknowledged. I know that for a fact. In fact, it's the stuff that he got me within less than 30 seconds. I sent it from the time I saw it, and I put his name to it, that it was coming from him. So, everybody knew it was from him, so, I mean, things are happening, and everything cannot be discussed out in the open, and, because, how will it materialize? So you really can't run everything in public domain, because you have to have it, things hidden until you're ready to deliver, so they can't speak on everything, So, gentlemen, I thank you. I'm hoping that you could join me tomorrow night. We'll continue the conversation. Doc, you have to cover some things on disaster, because all these things happening around the world with New York and everything, and so we got to do some things with that.
Yeah, correct. Tomorrow, tomorrow I have to go to the Diwali Nagar. We have an event there, so I'm not sure what time I'll be back. But we have.
No, you could come in late. We will crank up and you join when you can.
Yeah, we have the president of NCIC. We're having a dance event there.
Okay.
He's invited me to go. So I should be back. So when I come back, I'll join.
All right. Or if you want to do it Sunday, but tomorrow night we on. We could chat again tomorrow night.
Yeah, no problem. I say once I come back in, we'll have a chat. For
Yeah,
sure.
we get things going. I'll try to get feed. You had a little technical problem.
Keep the mind alert and keep us in a good spirit.
Yeah, we had to keep on firing. The war is ours too, we just can't let them guys say it's their battle alone, I mean, it's all our interests, it's our vested interests. I mean, like for instance, I mean, look, I sitting out here because things are not right in Trinidad. The minute it's right in Trinidad, I would go home, I mean, we're fighting for our cause here, including ourselves, we want to upgrade the country. But, again, we're extending the invite to the members of the diaspora to understand to join the fight. This is about you, participate, share your views, things like that. And I want to keep encouraging the people on that. All right, guys. So tomorrow night.
Take care. See you guys.
And the guys, your guys and them started to talk about what they like to see in the budget. I hope they are right. People like Ven and so on might be able to instrument as
well, Doc, consult with them and you guys come to talk about it,
No, I'd like to hear the people from Trinidad what they have to say about that.
Wade is back. He's back in Trinidad. I talked to him.
Yeah.
So you guys could chat off air and come with something, to discuss too, But look and see what's going on,
Yeah.
All right.
All right, later. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Following Cabinet's decision to remove county medical officers of health from the approval process, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development Dr. Kennedy Swarat Singh noted that government is addressing one of the key bottlenecks affecting the ease of doing business.
But the cost to businesses and to development activity for inordinate delay in getting things approved has been significant.
The Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Rudal Munilal, has indicated that government continues to receive expressions of interest in the Pointe-à-Pitre refinery.
There are several interested parties. In the coming weeks, another interested party may join us to take a look and have technical discussions with our people. So there's no shortage of suitors for the refinery. It is just that we have to meet and treat with all offers and all those concerned in a very fair, transparent manner, and that is what we are about now. So that process is unraveling as we speak. Just this morning I've received communications from another entity with great interest in that.
Mr. Munilal made his comment as he spoke to members of the media after a book distribution program in his Debeg constituency on Friday.
ठिकाना है इस पल के आगे के अर्श फसाना है कल किसने देखा है कल किसने जाना है इस पल से पाएगा जो तुझको पाना है जीने वाले सोच ले यही वक्त है कर ले पूरी आरज़ू आगे भी जाने न तू पीछे भी जाने न तू जो भी है बस यही एक पल है आगे भी जाने न तू पीछे भी जाने न तू जो भी है बस यही एक पल है अनजाने सायों का राहों में तेरा है अनदेखी बाहों ने हम सबको घेरा है ये पल उजाला है बाकी अंधेरा है ये पल गवाना ना ये पल ही तेरा है जीने वाले सोच ले यही वक्त है कर ले पूरी आरज़ू आगे भी जाने न तू पीछे भी जाने न तू जो भी है बस यही एक पल है इस पल के साये में अपना ठिकाना है इस पल के आगे के अर्श फसाना है कल किसने देखा है कल किसने जाना है इस पल से पाएगा जो तुझको पाना है जीने वाले सोच ले यही वक्त है कर ले पूरी आरज़ू आगे भी जाने न तू रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरी नजरें तो गिला करती है तेरे दिल को भी सनम तुझसे शिकायत होगी मेरे तेरे गले में आता सनम नगमा वफा का गाता सनम तुझसे सुनाना चाहता सनम फिर आज इधर आया हूँ मगर ये कहने में दीवाना खत्म बस आज ये बेशत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरे महबूब कयामत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरी नजरें तो गिला करती है तेरे दिल को भी सनम तुझसे शिकायत होगी मेरे सनम के दर से अगर
Well, it's Jesh and Reshma. Chutney Store. Blue Fox, what we say? Banda like she only catching it. Send she say man she only wanting it. Call them my phone when them getting it. No, 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 no.
की तमन्ना है कि हीरा मुझे मिल जाए चाहे मेरी जान जाए चाहे मेरा दिल जाए ओ पन्ना की तमन्ना है कि हीरा मुझे मिल जाए चाहे मेरी जान जाए चाहे मेरा दिल जाए ओए रो तरारा
से कैसे पर्वत हिल जाए, चाहे मेरी जान जाए चाहे मेरा दिल जाए।
ओ पन्ना की तमन्ना है कि हीरा मुझे मिल जाए,
चाहे मेरी जान जाए चाहे मेरा दिल जाए।
Panna want to study, cause she only catching, but this girl could keep on dreaming. Die where she wants, die where she wants. Panna want to study, cause she only catching, Panna you could keep on dreaming. Die where she wants. And she said that she only want a minute. Call my phone when